What's going on? You're in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about this new album from the Men entitled New York City. They released that on February 3rd. This is the ninth studio album for the band and their follow-up to 2020's Mercy. An interesting outfit, a great album, and really, just a nice stepping stone in what has been a very interesting and eclectic career. These guys starting off early on with more of a noise rock element driving their early sound, and as their careers progressed, incorporating more melodic elements, country, surf rock. And this new record, New York City, such an excellent punk drive and such a fabulous feel of garage rock on this thing. I love the energy. Great riff to open up, and then this thing just hits right out of the gate with that feel. And I think about the New York punk scene, and there's a glam element to that scene in general. I feel like that this album just doesn't necessarily capture. Not that it's a bad thing. It's kind of different. What I'm arguing here is that if there's a band that this album reminds me of, if we're talking about New York punk, it's Television. It's really the band that I'm feeling that's driving this thing. But if I can be completely honest, I think this thing should be called Detroit. Really getting a feel of bands like Stooges and MC5, especially the opening track, Hard Livin'. There's this piano element, and it just reminds me of Now I Want to Be Your Dog. It's sped up. It's hitting harder and faster. But immediately when I heard that song, I could not help but think of Iggy Pop and the Stooges. But I love the driving influence there, and a number of different factors that are working on this record. And it just makes sense with this band. Like I said, given all the influences that have driven their sound, all the different the previous 8 records throughout their career, it's been fun listening to these guys. They're that type of outfit that if you have an eclectic taste in music, if you enjoy just a band just doing what they do when they feel like doing it, this is one of these outfits. That's why I really dig them. And this new record is capturing a lot more. I think of, you talk about that New York scene, feeling the Ramones on a few tracks here. I love the just general classic rock feel on this record. There's a couple tracks where I'm hearing guys like Tom Petty. I'm hearing Neil Young and Crazy Horse. These just big chunky riffs and these grooves that these tracks settle into. And I love that. Some of them might hit hard, but there's still that melodic element that I think is so important and so essential to good punk music anyway. And so it's just, this is a great addition to their catalog. I think it's something unique and different, which is how these guys roll. They don't like to do the same thing with every single album. And I think that this is a good run of songs that 37 minutes, 10 tracks, no filler from start to finish. Like I said, this thing, it opens up with Hard Livin', just that great riff that opens, and then it hits with that garage rock and punk feel, and just that cool key element. It's just a great way to open up this track. And I really like the transition into Peace of Mind. Seamless. Like, you'll probably miss it the first time you listen to this record, and I think that's great. It acts like a sister track. You're getting a lot of the same melodic feel, but the keys are absent, was basically the big thing that I noticed. But I liked that 1-2 punch there is a great way to open up this record. Echo, your third track, comes out just ferocious. And I like the way that this album continues to build on that pace, just that pure rock and roll momentum. It's got a great hook to it, great melodies as well. And it's going to lead into God Bless the USA, your fourth track. This is where I felt kind of that Ramones element there, but playing just, again, keeping that pace, keeping that speed. I love the way that they keep that up all the way until your A-side closer I. It's just lots of feedback to open on this thing. And then this big sludgy jam. I mean, it's just a grunge element that really reminded me of the Melvins, actually. If I'm going to pick out any band, I was just hearing that outfit a ton in that track, and a nice way to close out the A-side of this record, especially with the way the pace was built up. Nice close. Eternal Recurrence is your sixth track, and drums lead off to pick the tempo back up. Great way to start the B-side. It's got this nice garage rock feel. Reminds me of a little bit of later Velvet Underground. The album Loaded is really a lot of the music on that record is what came to mind. Dig the production on the vocal on that song. Just a great opener for that second side of the record. Around the Corner is your seventh track. Back to that grunge feel. I like that quick change back to that just sludgy kind of big riff. Cool solo in this song. And honestly, it reminded me a little bit of early Aerosmith. If you listen to that band early on, some of their stuff is pretty heavy and hits pretty hard. This particular song brought some of that music to mind. Through the Night is your 8th track, captures that New York punk sound brilliantly. I feel like this is one of those. I feel like this is the moment on the album where this is appropriately titled. It's the hook is so catchy. It's really just nicely done, and I really like that hook and the way that it plays on the title. Might be one of my favorite tracks for that reason. That, and I really like I like that big sludgy jam. But this thing, it really builds up nicely towards the back end. I will say that. Anyway, I Find You, excellent balance of country drive in an alternative rock track. And I feel like this is a song that's capturing, maybe some of those previous records, what they were doing before. Really a nice penultimate track though. And I like the way that it leads into River Flows, big album ender. And this is where I was really getting that classic rock feel, talking about Tom Petty, talking about Neil Young and Crazy Horse, just a great bass groove that's driving this track, and just a great groove all around, a jam and a nice way to finish off what is a phenomenal album. Really solid effort from the Men. It's a vinyl please for sure. I hope that you guys enjoy listening to this record and that you find this review helpful. Excited to dive into this a little more and discuss it with MB and Keith on Tuesday nights when we do the live show. We do that at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help us blow this channel up, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.